Do you like floating, science, throwing rocks, Dutch, and of course, feet? Then you should totally main Sigma. Sigma, real name Dr. Siebren de Kuiper, is Overwatch's gravity-obsessed mad scientist. After an experiment gone horribly wrong,
what is that melody?
he gave himself the ability to control gravity. Talon noticed this, picked him up, dusted him off and basically said, we can make this work. Let's talk about what abilities Sigma has to offer. First of all, we have Hyperspheres. This is just his main weapon, launching 2 charges that deal splash damage, but they deal extra bonus damage when they hit directly onto the target. Charges can bounce once, which makes them super useful for spamming corners and ruining someone's attempt to see cover at 1 HP. Next up we have Experimental Barrier. This is your right mouse button. Basically you hold and the barrier goes forward, you release and the barrier stays there, you right click again and the barrier retracts. So basically you extend it, you retract it and then you forget it exists. At least that's what happens in my games. Then we have Kinetic Grasp. This is your panic button. The enemy shoots at you, you eat it, you snack it, you turn it into shields like a scientifically accurate Kirby with a PhD. Accretion. You press E and throw a giant rock at someone. This again deals splash damage, but direct hits deal 80 damage and knock them down for 1.1 second. That's right, Sigma basically carries a whole ass boulder for whenever someone annoys him. Imagine complaining at customer service and then they just throw a fucking meteor right at you.
Das Universum singt vorbei!
This ability is great for comboing squishies out of existence. If your combo fails, well, you just pretend it was a zoning ability. Then last but not least, we have Gravity Flux. This is your ultimate ability. When casted, you have a huge circle area in which you can lift up enemies and smack them back down, dealing 50% of their max HP. However, this ability gets countered by a lot of abilities, so be cautious whenever you use it. Think for example about Venture's Dig and Mauga's Overrun, in which they can't be lifted up. Abilities like Zarya's Bubble, Mei's Cryo Freeze and Kiriko's Suzu can prevent damage, but they won't stop them from being lifted up. Then there's also Life Weaver, who can just pull an ally right out of your ult using Life Grip.
Hold up. Let him Mission
Then there's also the perks. For the minor perks you can choose between Kinetic Cycle, which when you're using your shift you can convert 100 damage reducted into 2 seconds cooldown reducted on your accretion, so your rock. You can also choose for Hyper Regeneration, which just regenerates your experimental barrier's health faster. I usually don't bother with this perk, I just pick Kinetic Cycle because I think it's much better. For the major perks you can choose between Hyper Strike, which knocks away enemies and levitates them whenever you hit them with a melee attack, but this melee attack only charges whenever you hit 5 direct hits with your main weapon. Or you can go for Levitation, which when activated you briefly levitate when double jumping. I'm not sure what the best perk is here. I like the knockback on the first perk and I melee a lot between shots anyways, so I usually go for Hyper Strike. But is Sigma any good right now? Well, he's mid, like a solid mid. Not trash, not broken either, just mid.
I'm gonna put him A- B+ for now.
I was thinking about putting Sigma in F tier, but I think he's okay-ish.
It actually all depends on your composition and what enemies you're playing. A lot of high mobility heroes just outmaneuver you, or you just get melted down by a Reaper Zarya. When you're playing in a more poke oriented composition, Sigma can be a really good pick. You are in fact a poke tank, but since Overwatch 2, Sigma is also a very strong brawler. Just make sure whenever you're able to melee in between your charges. This deals massive amounts of burst. Whilst these bursts deal a lot of damage, you want to avoid shooting the enemy tank. Try to find shots on the enemy backline, as your combos excel in dealing with squishies. Like I said earlier, try to combine your accretion with your charges to eliminate squishy target. Use this religiously on the enemy Ana. When walking up, hold your shield to block poke and safely take space. When you're actually in position you're going to be playing from, try to use your shield to counter incoming abilities, like an enemy Sigma Rock, a Roadhog Hook, an Ana Sleep, maybe even Reinhardt ult, because your shield counts as a block of line of sight. This is very useful. Another great way to use your Sigma shield is to block off an enemy like a Widowmaker sniping from the high grounds. As Sigma is really good when you play his range, try to actually keep brawlers at range. I said Sigma is also a great brawler. Well, whenever you face brawlers, try to really use your range when you're brawling them, basically, as Sigma is great at range. If you're facing a diva, she for example can't block your accretion, your rock. So basically whenever you get dove, you just knock her down. The same goes for Doomfist. A tank to stay cautious about is Winston. He defeats the purpose of keeping distance. He can dive into your team and use his barrier to make things a lot more difficult for you. If you can manage to knock him down mid-jump, this breaks a lot of his momentum and makes for an easy target. Ball is just annoying. Reinhardt is another prime example of keeping distance. In the mid ranges you should have the advantage, always, but at close range Reinhardt has the upper hand. Try not to engage at close range, and of course blocking his shadow with your barrier. For the skin enthusiasts here we have blue, green, orange, pink, Dr. De Kuiper, Talon, Drowned Warrior, Carbon Fiber, Galactic, M-Bison, Asylum, Subject Sigma, Oracle, Prophet, Scuba, Flying Dutchman, Rhyme, Maestro, Captain, Monstrosus, Odin, Beekeeper, Bronze Drake, Plunderer, Beholder, Shigua Tianwang, Professor De Kuiper, and his mythic Galactic Emperor. I will spare you the Overwatch League skins. What do I think about Sigma? I enjoy Sigma a lot. His combos feel amazing. His rock shuts down danger and his playstyle is super satisfying. But he's an easy target for dive, so pick your moments wisely. I'm actually working on another Sigma video right now, so if you want more Sigma, keep an eye on the channel. Oh, what the fuck?